and it's 11 o'clock, and we are live with Little Shop of Physics Live. And this week, we're talking about plants. And so we needed to have some plants on the show. And so we decided to try to grow some plants with things we have in the kitchen. And I have some little chickpeas here, and I took them and I got them nice and moist, and I've been keeping them in a warm spot, and they're starting to sprout, and these are going to turn into little sprouts, which is kind of awesome. But Brenna had much more success growing things than I did. Brenna's got a whole like plant menagerie over there.
Well, I've been practicing for a while, okay, Brian? So I decided to grow an avocado a while ago.
And that just came out of the center of an avocado. Like you finish eating the avocado and...
Yeah, you just take the seed out and then you just stab some toothpicks into it and you stick it in a cup of water. And the thing is, it takes a long time. This sprout has been around for about 2 months now, and you can see it's grown a root. It's got some little green in there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's going to sprout.
Whoa.
And then I have the bigger avocado tree up here.
Oh my gosh, it's got leaves and everything.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like when it sprouts. So you take your avocado pit, wash it off, stab some toothpicks in it, throw it in a glass of water, and you're good to go.
And it will grow. That is awesome. And did it split, or did you split it?
Oh no, it split itself.
It splits itself.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So there's something in your kitchen that you might just throw out that you can grow. And then someone called me out on this. I said it was 11 o'clock. It's only 10:30. We used to do it at 11 o'clock. I guess I'm just sort of stuck on that. So Brenna's got avocados, but Brenna also did an awesome thing with wood and with stone. And let's do a little video of the setup for that, should we?
Yeah, so I made my own chia pets, basically, because chia pets, well, they're kind of expensive, and my last one molded. So I decided to make my own.
So you got a rock.
Yep, and I got a piece of wood, soaked them, wet the chia, kind of smeared it on there like a piece of toast.
Awesome.
And then you pour some water in the bottom of the glass, put some saran wrap over the top, and they sprout.
Oh my gosh.
Put it in sun.
And let's see how they look now. Look at that.
So here are my little chia pets. Here's the one on the piece of wood. It actually grew a little bit better than the other one.
I think the wood, I would guess it's just going to pull up more water.
Yeah, it sucks up the water, and then the plants can grow. So both of these, and this rock is just a piece of red rock. You can find those anywhere, pretty much. They're all over Colorado. So.
And Brenna, you just got those chia seeds at the grocery store, right?
I did. You can get these at Sprouts or King Soopers or
Sprouts.
Wherever. Whatever, Brian.
Wow.
So those are some seeds you can have in your kitchen, and you can plant them and grow them, making little plants. Those are awesome. How long has that been growing?
Oh, about a week.
About a week.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And so the wood, when it's sitting in the water, it pulls up water to the top, and it turns out plants do that too. Plants pull their moisture from the soil, and they pull it into the roots, and they bring it up through their vascular system and deliver it to the top of the plant. And Maude has got some awesome demonstrations of this capillary action.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're just going to start off with 2 videos. So the first one, I took 4 roses, and I put some sugar in the water, and then I dyed the water a bunch of different colors. Oh. And here's a real quick time lapse of how that's set up.
That blue rose really turned blue. So that's just like sugar water with blue food coloring, and then the rose just drinks it up and turns itself blue.
Yeah, the sugar just makes it go faster too, so it would happen a little bit faster overnight.
So that's something people could do, is just food coloring plus sugar plus water, and you stick in a white rose, and it turns into a blue rose.
White rose and white carnations work real well too. If you only have 1 flower though, you could just split that stem right down the middle.
Oh my gosh.
And then that's going to be our second video here with the, so you just split the stem down the middle.
Let's take a look. Oh, look at that. So the stem is split down the middle, and half of the stem is in blue and half of it's in red.
It looks like half of it's getting blue and half of it's
getting red.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And this video was a little short, but
Maude's got the actual
finished product here. It's a little old because I did this at some point last week. But you can tell pretty clearly there that it's red on one side and blue on the other. And here I've just got a bunch of different flowers I did.
And these are just flowers you got at the store, right?
Yeah, I just went and I bought like a dozen white roses, and I think the green actually turned out better than I would have ever expected.
Oh, yeah.
The green is gorgeous.
I like the green.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. And then show me the, did you split the stem on that white one? 'Cause it looks like it's got 2
I split the stem
colors.
on this large white one, and the bottom of it is a little bit more compelling.
Oh yeah, you can
that's
see you
cool.
split it, and so half of it got fed by red and half of it got fed by blue. And so you can see that vascular system's got like little tubes that go all the way from the bottom to the top of the plant, and some of it sucked up some red, some of it sucked up some blue. That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, other things, like when you put a piece of paper in water, it's going to suck up the water. And you notice like paper towels will. And it works the same way. It's just a capillary action. And you can use this to do a separation called chromatography. And Maud did this with some pigments from plants. Maud has been our plant person this time out. So Maud, tell us how you set this up.
All right, so what I did is I just took some like little strips of watercolor paper, and then I just had...
And it's got to be watercolor paper, right?
Yeah, we've tried it before with paper towel and with coffee filter, but it's just too absorbent. So watercolor paper works best, and so I've got the flowers here. I just grabbed them from the bouquet that I had the roses in, actually. And I just peeled off the stems. I kind of crushed them up a little bit, and then I just crushed them and put some alcohol in it, some isopropyl alcohol. I think I used 70%. Then you just let them sit in that for a little bit, grind them up, and then I took that liquid and I put it in these vials down here. And then I just stuck these papers right in there. And then I think we've got a video time lapse of that process.
Oh, wow. Look, you can see the alcohol going right up and the color is coming too, but it's separating. Look at that one on the right. It's a little bit of blue and a little bit of red. Whoa.
Yeah, and then I've got the finished products here.
Oh, yeah, and you can see. Which one shows it? Oh, look at that.
I think that one's probably the best.
Definitely got some yellow, got some purple. So there's not just one color of pigment in that flower.
There's two.
2 or 3 maybe.
Oh, 3 it looks
There's like 3 different colors. You got a dark color, you got kind of a red, you got a yellow. And that was just, you crushed up the flowers with alcohol, dipped them in some watercolor paper, and it separates the colors.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that is fantastic. Well, of course, if we're thinking about plants and the colors that plants are, I'm going to ask kids to put in the chat, what color are plants? When you think of plants, what color do you think of? Let's see what people are saying. I'm seeing green, 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 green. A couple of people are saying pink and white and some other colors, but I would say 90% of the folks who are weighing in are saying like plants are green. And when I think of plants as being green.
I'll just set it on there.
But why are plants green? And that is a question that we can give some thought to. And Brenna is going to show us some things. But first off, I want to show you a little something about the rainbow and think about how our eyes work. Now we've got this little screen right here in front of me. And I'm going to project some colors of light on that screen. And I've got 3 different colors of light. One of them's red, one of them's green, one of them's blue. I'm going to put them right there on the screen. And you can see where I'm going to mix the different colors. So I've got a red, I've got a blue, and I've got a green. And when I bring those 3 colors all together, red plus green plus blue, the center of that circle is white.
It looks like.
It's white. And so we're going to break the rainbow up into 3 colors, your 3 primary colors, red and green and blue. Those are the 3 colors that we need to consider. And now, once we got that settled, we're going to go over to Brenna and we're going to talk about plants and ask the question, why are plants green?
Yeah, so here I have a grow lamp, and this is a lamp that you use to grow plants. You can use them to grow any plants. But if I flip it over, I'll give Patrick a second here. You can see that, let's see if we can get it focused in a little bit. You can see there's only red and blue.
There's just red and blue. There's no green.
There's no green.
Just red and blue.
So why is there only red and blue? And if I shine it on this plant, it's pretty happy. It's photosynthesizing.
Oh man, you shine it on a plant, it's like sucking up that light. It looks not reflecting any.
Yep. So why is this lamp only red and blue? Why do we only want to give plants red and blue to grow? So here we have...
And Casey, you made this one, didn't you?
I did, yes.
So this is Casey making this one. Casey's shining light of different colors on the plants. So Casey, tell us what we got going on here.
So what we did is we just took this big light that had changing colors, and you can see that when the blue shines on it and the red shines on it, it looks much darker in the
Wow.
black and white. And when you shine the green light, it appeared a lot lighter. And that's because that is the color that the plant is reflecting, more or less.
Awesome. And can we bring that back to the start? Let's go ahead and rerun that one. So we got this light that makes red and green and blue, and an ivy plant. Mm-hmm. So when you shine the green light on it, it's pretty light colored. When you shine the red on it, it looks, and the blue, it's dark. It's really, really dark. So what does that tell us about the colors of light that the plants are using?
It's using the red and the blue.
Plants are so the chlorophyll just uses the red and blue to make food for the plant. So the green doesn't get used and just gets reflected right back out. So plants, you look green because they're basically eating the red and the blue. Can I say that without fear of contradiction?
Yeah, I think so.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And Brenna has got some demonstration of this principle as well. Looks like you got some lasers and some leaves.
So I got a leaf from my ivy here, and I have 3 different colored lasers. I have a red laser. Let's see if you all can see that.
Oh yeah, pretty red.
Red. Can you see it on the camera, Patrick?
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay. I got a blue laser,
Yep, there's a blue
and then I got a green one.
and a green.
Okay. And if I shine the red laser on the leaf, no light is transmitted.
Because the
to
leaf is
paper.
like num, 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 num,
Yep,
num.
it's
I
eating
love
it
that
up.
red.
The blue laser, same thing.
Num, 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 num,
It's
num,
eating
num.
it up. But the green, look at all that light being
Oh,
transmitted
right on through.
It's not eating that one. It's just
Not
reflecting.
eating the green, it's eating the red and the blue.
Yep. Awesome.
That is totally awesome.
Somewhere
and
Rachel's
Brenna,
crying.
you did the same thing that Maud did. Maud separated the colors of pigments, and you separated the green pigment.
That I did.
Right?
That I did. There's 2 different types of, well, there's a couple different types of chlorophyll in plants. And chlorophyll is that green stuff. It's the stuff that makes plants green. So I did some chromatography just like Maud did. I squished up some spinach really fine, poured some alcohol in it, let it get nice and green and goopy, and then I stuck some of these watercolor papers in, and we get some of that banding.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can see it. So this one, you can see a couple different bands, and we actually have a video of this happening, a time lapse. So
Chromatophone.
we just used baby spinach, and we squished
And
it up.
spinach works really well for this.
It does, because it's so fleshy that you can really get some juice out of it.
And then some isopropyl
So you feed
alcohol.
it and then you crush it. Wow.
And this is just from the drugstore, right? Little isopropyl
yeah.
alcohol.
Yeah, this is 70% isopropyl. You can find this everywhere now during
Wow.
COVID times. Because,
Wow, look at that go.
Yeah, and you can see the banding.
And you can see the banding, and I'm getting like different colors of chlorophyll in there,
Yeah.
which is kind of an awesome, awesome thing. Now, chlorophyll does something else which is super cool. And Brennan made a little alcohol solution of chlorophyll and does something kind of amazing. The whole point of chlorophyll is it absorbs light.
Yes, it does. And turns out it fluoresces as well.
So it gives off light.
Yes, so here I have a jug of that spinach juice that I made that I would have done the chromatography with. And if I shine this super cool UV flashlight on it, it's called the Beast, it turns
Whoa.
bright red.
Whoa, that is awesome. So the chlorophyll is absorbing the ultraviolet, and then it's emitting some red.
Yep, emitting some red. Can't use it all, so spits it back out.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
And you can do this yourself. All you need is a black light and
Black
some
light,
spinach juice.
Spinach, alcohol.
Yep.
All things easy to get a hold of. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Now, one of the things, the themes of the show is that we want to talk about is plants, how would they move? And it turns out you don't think of plants as moving particularly. They don't get up and walk around. But on the other hand, plants are capable of some motion. And actually, over the course of a day, plants move more than you would think. I set a plant in my windowsill, and I did a time-lapse video over a course of a couple of hours in the late afternoon yesterday. And you can see the light is getting dimmer and brighter, and the plant is rising and falling basically to meet the light. When it's sunny, it lies down, and when it's shady, it stands back up again. And look at it coming and going. And that plant actually moves a significant amount over the course of a day, and that's not growing. What it's doing is it's just putting water into and out of different structures in the leaves, at the base of the leaves, and also in the stem. And it's basically using hydraulics to make it stiffer or less stiff, and it kind of like rises up, lies down, and it does that in response to the light, and you can see the light coming and going. And that plant moves a lot over the course of a day.
Wow.
But even so, that plant's moving on a really long... Oh, is that the plant right there? That's the star of our show right there? Which is awesome. But we have plants that move faster than that for sure. And Casey's going to tell us about one that she's got.
Yes, so Lauren and I think we have a video for this. We were messing around with this plant called a mimosa plant. And it has this same hydraulic system that Brian was talking about, but it functions a lot faster than the one Brian was using. And you can see, as soon as Lauren touches it, there's little sensors, kind of like if you could think of them as neurons at the base of each of those leaves. And it tells those leaves to close and uses that hydraulic system to shut just as soon as it gets that sensory.
And you can see it's basically sending a signal down the leaf, so one of them goes and then the next one in line goes. And can we watch that one more time? That is just so... Look at it go. Oh my gosh.
I think you can find these in the stores. They're called sensitive plants.
Sensitive plants.
Sensitive plants.
I'm so sensitive. And you don't want to do, if you have a sensitive plant, you don't want to do this a lot. The plants don't like it. But once in a while, for science.
I mean, you can see how leggy Brian's is. It doesn't like being touched.
No, it's not a fan.
It's been used for science one too many times.
Yeah.
But besides that, I'm giving it lots of water and good sunlight, and I'm even giving it plant food. I'm taking good care of this. I care deeply about this little plant. This was sold to me by a friend, but you can just get them. You can get them at nurseries around town. I've gotten some of these mimosas. This is kind of an awesome thing. And so that's a plant that reacts really, really quickly. So plants are capable of motion over a long time period. Of course, they grow. Over a time period of like hours, they can kind of like make their leaves go up and down to catch more or less light. And then some plants can move very, very quickly over a time measured in seconds. But there's one time when motion is really, really important for plants, and that's when it comes time to spread their seeds, because the seeds are going to be new plants, and you don't want to plant all the seeds just right where you're standing. That's like having your kids stay at home with you like forever, which is kind of, I know, a thing that you youngsters are into these days. But the plants want their babies to kind of like spread out, and they've got various mechanisms to make this happen, and Brenda's going to show us a couple.
Yes, so I'm sure y'all have seen some of those helicopter seeds before. You can pick them up off the sidewalk and then you throw them and they kind of spin down. Well, me and Charmaine made our own helicopter seeds, and we kind of showed how these seeds can spread over long distances.
And show us how you made that. Can you hold that up so I can take a look? Because someone can make this, right?
Yeah, I just made it out of a strip of paper that's about, this wide. And then you do some folding into a point, cut some little strips right here. Then I just stapled the tip together, cut it some flaps so it can spin around. But then we took these up to the roof and we threw them off.
Oh, yeah.
So we could see how the seeds spread, because plants can't move from one place to another, but their seeds can.
I mean, look at them go.
And it was really quite magical to go out there and throw those seeds.
And look at them spread.
Yeah.
They're flying and catching a little bit of breeze and spreading out.
And you can see how they just spread out pretty far, actually, and where each of those arrows landed, that would be a new baby plant.
That one stood up.
And that one's stuck into the ground, man. And a lot of plants will have things like that are meant to just like
drill into the ground.
Yeah, they're drilling into the ground. They're getting that plant kind of a really good start.
Yep. Another way that seeds travel, well, and we were kind of looking at this in more of a physics light, dandelions have those little frillies at the top, right? And they kind of float through the wind. Well, it turns out that those frillies do something special to make the seed float slower than if just replacing it with a flat, solid disc. So if I raise these seeds up, and I drop them at the same time, you can see.
Ooh, Fluffy goes a little slower.
Yeah, the disc one, it lands a lot faster. So the one with the feathers is more likely to be carried about by the wind and land somewhere farther away so that a dandelion can spread, which is kind of awesome.
So I think the kids should take some dandelions in the yard, and they get those fluffy heads on. They should blow them. And they've got that little parachute thing on top, but it's not a disc. It's a whole bunch of feathery stuff, and
Yeah.
that feathery stuff is the best for like catching wind. Awesome. Oh, and you've got another way that seeds can spread around.
Yep, and this isn't airborne. This is more on animals. So here I have my animal fur. It is a piece of carpet. And then I have this ball covered in Velcro. And actually, the person that got the idea for Velcro got the idea from the little burrs sticking to their dog. So if I throw this ball at the carpet, you can see it sticks pretty readily. And then my carpet can, my animal can go somewhere else, drop the seed, and it can grow.
Would that stick to my hair?
I don't know. Let's try.
I gotta know, like, would it stick?
Yes.
Answer?
yes.
I'm just gonna wear it after
Brian
the
can be a
show. I
seed
picked up a
carrier.
seed, and I'm gonna spread this. I'm gonna take it someplace else and kind of like spread this around. Awesome.
Those are the same ones you get stuck in your foot if you walk barefoot. Huh?
Yes.
Oh, is that right?
Those little, we call them prickle burrs.
Yeah.
Prickle
yeah.
burrs.
Cockleburs, prickle burrs, sand burrs. I've heard that as well.
And that just helps them. That just helps them travel. That is fantastic. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is we want to talk about plants and the environment and the atmosphere. And Casey's got a couple of plants under a fish tank, and you got a meter inside there too, right?
I
Casey,
do.
tell me what we got going on here.
So I just have a little carbon dioxide meter in there, and we put this in under this fish tank just to shut in all of the air before the show started. When we started, that meter read, I think, 420.
And now it's gone up.
It's gone up, actually, which is the opposite.
Well, I think that what's happening is there's some stuff in the soil that is kind of like giving off some CO2, and we don't have very much light inside.
No.
But if you take this with plants outside,
We have a video of this.
and Casey, tell us what you did here.
So same thing with the tank upside down, but on some live grass and dandelions outside. And what's happening is the plants are using up all of the carbon dioxide in the air. They're eating it. And so the carbon dioxide levels are going down, which you can see on that meter.
Oh my gosh. You can see it definitely was like consuming that CO2.
And if I breathe into it and put all of my fresh CO2 into it,
Oh my gosh.
it actually becomes dangerous.
Casey, you're full of hot air.
Yeah, my smelly breath.
And let's do that one more time and kind of talk this one through, because this is kind of awesome.
So Casey, do animals produce the CO2 that plants eat?
We do.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
So we eat plants, and then we breathe out
Breathe out the CO2?
and the plants eat that. It's
Awesome.
one big happy cycle.
It's one happy CO2, one happy carbon cycle. This is awesome. Oh, yeah, you can see the humidity's going up too. And
getting
also
kinda
the
foggy in
temperature
there.
underneath there. Because the plants are bringing up water from the soil, and they're putting out water vapor into the air. And that CO2 drops significantly.
Ew.
And it's just the CO2, just the CO2. Oh my gosh. That is a fantastic
Poor
thing.
quality breath.
And these CO2 meters we've been wanting to use these for a while. They got hard to get this year because you can use a CO2 meter as a measure for how much your air is turning over in your room. And this is important for COVID prevention, so which is kind of awesome. So we can use it for that purpose as well. So plants basically eat air and water and turn it into themselves. And when you look at a big tree in your yard, I want you to think about that. That tree built itself with air and water and sunlight, and it's kind of amazing that they can do that. They're not taking things from the soil. They take some nutrients, but mostly it's the air and the water, and they turn it into themselves, which is a kind of a phenomenal thing. And Brenna's got some plants that show this in a really pure way.
Yeah, so plants don't actually eat dirt, as you might think. Like Brian said, that big tree does not eat dirt, it eats air and it eats water. So here I have some air plants, and they actually don't like dirt. If you plant them, they die. And they just live in the air and I spray some water on them every now and again, and they just kind of hang out and grow. And I also have a plant that is growing solely in water.
So no soil.
No soil whatsoever, just water and just air. It's kind of awesome.
That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. Now plants, if they're going to reproduce, they have to make seeds, and they have flowers to make seeds, and the seeds need to get pollen. They need to be pollinated, and plants, if they're going to interbreed with other plants, they got to distribute their pollen from one place to another. And we know who helps with this.
Bees.
Bees. And Casey's got, looks like you have a little bee loon here.
I hated that. That was awful.
So bees, when they visit flowers, they get all charged up.
Well, actually, they get charged up just flying through the air, don't they?
Oh, they do? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
bees just charge up when they fly through the air.
They're getting all charged up, and then they go and visit their flowers. We have our little sunflower
Ooh,
here.
look at that. And then you got a lot of
Getting
little...
all that food, and when he leaves,
Whoa, look at that.
he's got all that pollen
All that
with
pollen
him.
is stuck to the bee.
And then he goes and visits his next flowers, and on his way, he drops off all his pollen.
Drops off all the pollen. So, and this was cool because we started this year with the Little Shop of Physics doing static electricity. We did the electricity show.
Yes.
And it turns out static electricity is kind of a big deal in nature, and this is one place where it's a really big deal. Bees accumulate a static charge as they fly through the air, and that just makes them much more effective at distributing pollen from one place to another. Casey, show us that one more time. Charge up that bee.
Flying, flying.
Flying, 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 flying.
I
Eating.
don't like
bees
how
got
he's
the
eating. He's angry.
And bees just getting a little coffee grounds to represent pollen right here. Now, we use plants for lots of different things, and one thing we use them for is food. Like the food that you eat basically comes from plants. But we use them to make a lot of things, and one thing we use plants to make is paper. We use trees to make paper. And when you're done with the paper, there's valuable things in it. It's the fibers in the wood, those fibers that kind of form those long columns that pull up moisture, etc. The fibers in the wood are the thing that we use to make paper. And when you're done using a piece of paper, you don't want to throw it out. Casey's got another idea for you.
I do. So Charmaine and I, yesterday, we shredded up a bunch of newspaper, cut it into really tiny squares, put it in this bin with some hot water, and we let it sit overnight, and it turned into this goopy mush, which next show we're going to show you what we do with it. Unless you're wanting me to explain it more now.
I think we can let people wait. So we took those fibers, basically took the paper and took it apart, and now we've got all the fibers. We've got this like tub full of paper fibers, and we can do something with this because the next show that we're going to do is all about sustainability. And the basic idea of sustainability we want to look at is this. If we want to live sustainably on our planet, and we're doing this because it's Earth Day. Yesterday was Earth Day, so we did a show on plants, and next week we're going to do sustainability. If we want to live sustainably on the planet, we need to figure out a way to reuse things and recycle things, and also think about different ways of getting our energy. And those are going to be the big topics which we talk about on the sustainability show. So that's for next week. And then for the week after that, you know what we got coming up next?
Aminal.
Aminals. We're doing aminals again. And so we're going to set up a link for you folks to be able to submit videos. Oh, heavens to Betsy. There it is. There's a link. So we want you to come up with animals videos. So maybe you have a dog or a cat or a gerbil or whatever doing something sciencey. Something sciencey. And we will build a show around the videos that people give us. So get your pets to do something cool and sciencey. Or wild animals. Kind of bees, butterflies. Someone said they had caterpillars. Caterpillars are pretty physicsy.
Don't harm any animals.
No, don't harm any animals. No.
Just doing their science thing in nature.
That's right. So we're not going to hurt anything, but we're going to make some awesome videos. Yeah. People are going to make videos, share them with us, and we'll use that to build our animal show. We're going to do this one right. Last one was a little rough, but the next one is going to be solid. I want to thank you folks so much for joining us for an episode of Little Shop of Physics Live. Thanks to Brenna and Maud and Casey. Thanks to Adam and Patrick for making everything run behind the scenes. We will see you folks next week with another installment of Little Shop of Physics Live. Happy Earth Day.
Bye, everyone.